So would starting a hospital be an alternate option to the certain current of events that are happening or could potentially take place, such as mm, right to abortion and different things like that, or to save life on very life and death situations? And, you know, I think that there are a lot of options, perhaps not yet fully, but more in the pipeline if you had a charity.
Yeah.
That could be set up to take in some income, yes? From people make some donations, worldwide pot where anyone has a right to pay if you feel this, this, and this, yes?
Yeah.
In order to get treatment in a life and death situation. So this could pay for things like transport.
Yeah.
Hospital stay, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, so hospital stay, transport. What else would you think that would be needed? For any... So the hospital stay would be covered underneath how much it would cost and different things like that, yes?
Yeah.
Transport to get you from point A to point B.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in a life or death situation, I'm not sure the whole climate on this sort of stuff, but I do know from experience that if you seek a dentist that is cheaper than what you currently get here, then I could travel with some health insurance in my holiday package, and I could potentially see a dentist in another nation and get something fixed for cheaper.
For much cheaper.
Yeah, for different things like that. Because the law only covers me in this nation. When I go to another nation, there's a whole different set of rules. And then I wonder if places like Canada could open a facility that, you have transport, different things like this. We was debating on one where there was a boat, a floating hospital, yes?
Yeah.
Floating hospital. Because again, isn't this international law?
Yeah, if it's in international waters,
Again, it's going to be how far, especially if someone's in a lot of pain. Can you get someone stable to transport them safely enough in this situation to help them? If it's a life or death situation, then, and that'd be the only alternate. Again, setting up a charity that could cover this and then pay for hospital stay in another nation somewhere. Okay, it's not the greatest answer to a situation, but again, I think it could help an awful lot down that road of at least getting 2 people saved or at least 1 person saved. Is it possible to achieve this via a charity that gets transport? If you need to get something done, I mean, hospital records, as far as I know, they're private. Yes, and I had an operation in Greece. It's a different story, obviously, but this was not shared with
UK.
With the UK. This was not shared. So when I went out, I had an incident, and then I had an operation done, and then when I came back, none of this. It was up to me whether I said anything or not, and there was no sort of paper trail on this sort of thing. So, again, is it possible to achieve this? I think it is, yes, because I think that you have a right to be personal with your health and what happens and what type of treatment. I mean, well, we see this with some leaders. They don't like to discuss their health problems. So I think that should be equal for all, really, isn't it? Like, isn't that how that works?
In democracy, yes.
So, and again, it could be the right to hold this information, and it's in a democracy, you say. But are some of these other nations that you go to get the procedure, are they a democracy? Do they have values? Are there values to keep personal and private on your health that you have in their nation? And if that is true, yes, we are democracy. We don't share your data with anyone. That's up to you. If you tell them, then that's your call to do so. Other than us, we stick to GDPR. after 3 months, we'll delete it. I wonder if that, or whatever it is, I don't know if it quite works that way, to be honest. I think you'd have to write to ask to have that removed in that aspect. But still, under that information that you've got, laws only cover your nation. They don't go into other parts of the world.
Yeah.
Because if it was, we would have a horrible problem with dictators, right? Because all the laws would just then be passed on to everybody around the world, right? So we have different laws, right? So different laws is about what that nation's laws are. And that if we have to give life-saving treatment, then we will act accordingly to this, this, and this based on this, this, and this. And I mean, if there are insurance from the charity that could cover this insurance, you square us up after you get better, when you're fully recovered. Or, because it's a charity, can I pay into that pot? Can you pay into that pot? Can somebody else here pay into that pot? Can someone from Finland pay into that pot? Can someone from EU pay into that pot? Can it be a universal pot that pays for life or death situations so that people can at least have a shot at getting some healthcare to save their life? That's the biggest question on here. And again, floating hospitals, I mean, if it's possible, and you can make one that is very stable in all sorts of different... I think that, you know, if I'm in pain or discomfort or facing life and death situation, I don't mind, see me at the side of the road. Yeah? So I've had my life saved in certain aspects, and I was at home when that happened. So again, it didn't matter whether I was at the hospital or not. The treatment came while I was at home, yes? I understand that is probably, you know, I wouldn't mind being seen at the side of a road if it meant a life or death situation. Do you see? So, again, I say home, but... And perhaps we don't live in an ideal world, you know, and this could open a Pandora for anybody, anywhere under this charity to be seen from any other nation. That if they've got an issue, a certain life or death situation that they're not being seen to in their nation, does this open the door to not just help one nation, but to help all nations that struggle to get hold of healthcare at that life and death situation? And can it open up something to start creating, or at least the basis of a universal healthcare or health insurance pot? They find a free hospital, this, and this, get you stable, get you to it, get the treatment that you need, and then potentially take you back. Your focus in that moment is to get better, recover. And the rest of this is then left to individuals that begin to pay in that pot. I mean, charity is a very powerful thing. We see this all the time. Can we, in different parts of the world, start opening up charity shops that are to pay straight into this and sell some old secondhand stuff that begin to pay into this pot in order to get people, no matter where they are, stable, get them the treatment that they need? I mean, does this open up something for hospitals around the world? We can see you, you're the closest, we will, and then get these individuals that need that treatment into these places. And then if it was really successful, I mean, thinking right out of the box a little bit more, could it then open Pandora's box to a universal healthcare? Again, it would seem like it would be a world tax after a charity if it was really successful, that we all start paying into this pot. If it's good enough that we're all sharing that, would it then open the Pandora's box to universal healthcare system? Would this walk into that? And then could there be floating hospitals? Could there be RV hospitals? Could there be hospital buses that go around that have compact hospitals inside them, that the person doesn't have to travel very far if they are in another nation that does have this, the helicopter or different journey over to this area, then straight off the helicopter and into the RV hospital. XYZ, different things like that. And could it all start from a charity or a moment that you flip it? You flip the situation to create something from that phoenix, if you like. From the ashes, the phoenix comes. It's not ideal because, you know, but there again, doing nothing that's not ideal. At least this is some level of a hope. Some hope that it's possible, potentially, this could save lives. because the laws only govern the area that you are in. And these laws may be stringent, dictator, whatever it may be. I don't know, where they say no to this, no to that. But these laws didn't change.
Yeah.
These laws say yes.
Mm-hmm.
These laws will help anybody, regardless of where you come from, regardless of your background, regardless of that. This charity here is the one that funds into this,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that then funds into the hospital.
Yeah.
And then this begins to open up some universal. This really opens things up to a lot of things are very competitive. International, yeah, and competitive with pricing. Can there be an insurance that comes from this? And then we start to see some level of a world, literally, a world, I don't know, I want to say health service. A world health service,
Mm-hmm.
far and wide, whatever you need. I mean, it would be crazy, right? Because we got bank accounts that are in Sweden.
Yeah.
Is it Sweden?
Switzerland.
Switzerland.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that are protected by Swiss law. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why can't we have a hospital in these areas that are protected via their laws? So if you can't get something in your nation,
Mm-hmm.
then you can just go here.
It's one of the most expensive.
Yeah, I understand. It's just an example.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's take the EU, for example. Let's take the United Kingdom. If we've got,
Independent
it
ones,
would
yeah.
have to be something that was independent, that would say, you know what? We'll see you.
Then Ireland is independent, isn't it, of many laws?
And how many jobs would this make? Extra jobs. How many more hospitals in that area that this resides would be built as a result of this if it gets successful? And I know it sounds weird to say it, but how many more opportunities does that give individuals? How much more of a better health system does it give? If we were all paying in the same pot and all were able to see this, how far would this begin to expand with the right amount of knowledge going into it, the best amount of charity going into it? You never know, something like this could really light a torch on something.
Yeah.
And then more hospitals, more staff, more jobs,
Yeah.
more life-saving, less waiting lists.
Yeah.
It's a challenge, but I dare say that look at what humanity has faced before. Humanity have faced worse things than this, and it's amazing how they flourish into something very beautiful from a hard situation to be in. And then this begins to perhaps light a torch that begins to spread from one torch, light and another torch, light and another torch, light and another torch,
Mm-hmm.
and it spreads.
Yeah.
I dare say, how many weeks left are there? 5, maybe 6. If there's 6 weeks, could this be started in 6 weeks? The backbones off of hospitals. Could this work? Rather than knock down hospital to build a new one, keep both. Could it work? And fill the other one with this idea and go from there. Oh, yeah, this could really work, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could.
And then would all other nations then begin to share these laws with one another, that then begin to really just stand up to any type of dictatorship that said no, whereas these ones' laws was always say yes, 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 yes. And then we wouldn't see anyone, and yeah, sure, in the first beginning of it, you have to become pioneers. I understand that in a situation like that, it's not best to say that, but it's the greater good in this. This is where I'm trying to hit it at, the greater good, that it will start off with setbacks and challenges, but they can be overcome, and when that gets going, there's no stopping it. The floodgates are open and wow, and it really could change the world.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to leave this one here. Have I covered that one correctly? So for a charity that starts has a health insurance that has good transport that gets people to another hospital in another area, that can get them life-saving treatment if they need it in a life or death situation, where it would take the rest of the world that don't agree in certain other aspects but would agree in this and believe that everyone has the right to a health system no matter where they are in the world. And that with the funds that go into it, with it being a charity shops in different areas for this particular endeavor, start to spread like wildfire. The hospitals then begin to expand in these areas as well. They then are able to see people in these emergency life or death situations. Can this help to create jobs? Can we create some stuff that's like floating hospitals that get into international water so people don't have to travel quite as far? This is all it takes. And yeah, once your treatment is done, there you are. Giving people the dignity and the respect that they deserve and the healthcare. And I think that in human rights, that isn't not a privilege. That should be something that we are all born into, a world where we can have access to good healthcare systems, no matter where we reside. It could. And if anything, this puts a massive amount of pressure on the ones that say no. This can force change. Beautiful. Anyway, I'm going to leave this one here. I'm trying to find a positive in this. But I think I should ask other people what your thoughts are. Have I missed anything? If I have, write it out. Do your video of this if you feel that you can, and add on to this. I don't mind. There's no copyright on this sort of content. If you want to take this info and light a torch under it and add your stuff into it, then go for it. Feel free. You have my blessing to do so. And let's see if we can together pull the phoenix out the ashes. Help forge the phoenix, at least. There you are. There's my 2 pennies.
Yeah.